Okay, well, welcome back. So, in the first few episodes, we started with getting the Synology set up. And in the last episode, I talked about removing the raid groups, and it could take a little bit of time. And so that's why I had paused the video and was picking back up here. So I removed the RAID groups, and if you notice, everything is still up and running because the first two drives that contain the operating system for the Synology are not affected by the RAID group. So it's just something you put on top of. So I've actually gone ahead and removed the RAID groups, and as you see, I've really got nothing here. I've got 8 unused drives, which is great. You can see I've got the different drives initialized. Little bit of mishmash of different drives because again these were spares and that. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and create a storage pool. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now I can either do the better performance or the higher flexibility. Now because I have drives of 2 different sizes, I've got 4 terabytes and 3 terabytes, I'm actually going to do the higher flexibility. I can utilize in the Synology hybrid RAID, which gives me the ability to do a RAID 5 across different size disks. And it basically does this through math, through the Synology software. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it's going to say, well, what do I want to call it? Do I want to call it anything? I don't need to. It gives me my Synology, hybrid RAID. I could choose something else. I could do a RAID 2, depending on what I wanted to tweak. Basically, I'm looking at like a double disk fault or some other advanced features. But I'm going to do the kind of the simple one here. I'm not even going to do a RAID 5 or RAID 10, which is like a mirrored stripe, or RAID 6, again, double disk fault. It's nothing I need. So we're going to go ahead and just do the Synology hybrid RAID. And it's saying, well, what do you want to add? Well, I want to add everything. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and just add everything in there and kind of let it sort itself out. I should come out with this collection roughly about 25, 26 terabytes of storage. It says some are not on the product compatibility list. That is going to happen. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It means it hasn't been tested. Now, is that really a big deal? If I was in production, absolutely, I would want drives that are on a certified list, and that's great. This is home. Okay, I called it backup for a reason. It is not something that is going to be used in my, day-to-day life stuff. So I'm fine with that. I'm going to continue and, let it go. Saying, are you sure? Is everything good? It's going to go ahead and erase the disk. And it's giving me about 23.6. And I'm going to go ahead and hit apply, and it's going to start going. The reason that I didn't get quite as much as I wanted, if you notice, all the drives are basically, 4 terabytes only 3.6, 3 terabytes 2.7. That's because of the math. So when you buy a 4 terabyte drive, typically when you get to a kilobyte, it's either, depending on whose math you're following, it's either divide by 1,000 or divide by 1024. If you're the manufacturer and you want to make the number look inflated, when you look at the platter size of the discs, you divide by 1,000. You actually kind of ramp up the speed a little bit more. I shouldn't say speed. You ramp up the capacity a little bit more because you're dividing by a smaller number. When you do what a computer actually uses in a kilobyte, which is 1024, you lose a little bit of space. And that's kind of what you're seeing here. That's been that way for years. The only reason people didn't notice it was smaller hard drives. Only when you get to the bigger drives did you see that difference there. Now, if you notice, it's saying, hey, doing a parity consistency check, it is at 0.04. This will take, my guess, probably 3 to 4 days to complete. I have done this accidentally on a storage frame that had 6 8 terabyte drives, and I want to say it was somewhere around 6 days to complete. There is no way to speed it up. It's just what it is, and given that we're not even at 1%, it is going to take it a while. And until it actually finishes, there's very little you can do with it because it is scanning all the drives. The other thing is, while it might be reasonably functional or you could do something with it, you really can't do a lot of read-write operations because the disks are already busy. So this is the one downside to this type of unit and this kind of setup. But if you don't know if your disks are good, if you don't do a consistency check, that's a problem. So it's kind of a one-time thing. You got to do it when you initially create the RAID group, and then hopefully you just don't have to do it again. So while this continues, it'll be a few days, and then we can come back and take a look at where we are from there. So again, my name is Brian Kirsch, and thank you for watching.